Deep in the bamboo forest, a panda named Pan was enjoying a quiet afternoon munching on his favorite leaves. Suddenly, a small yellow blur caught his eye. He blinked, then blinked again. It was a tiny duckling, all alone and seemingly lost, its downy feathers ruffled and wet. It cheeped weakly, its small beak opening and closing. Pan, despite his usually solitary nature, felt a pang of sympathy. He had never encountered a duckling before, let alone one so small and vulnerable. The forest floor was damp, and the air was growing colder as the sun began to dip behind the towering trees. He cautiously approached the tiny creature, his large paws moving with surprising gentleness. The duckling, initially frightened, seemed to sense Pan's non-threatening presence. It stopped cheeping and stared at the giant panda with wide, curious eyes. Pan gently nudged the duckling with his nose, a soft puff of air causing the little bird to tremble slightly. He considered his options. He could leave the duckling, but the thought of the tiny creature alone in the darkening forest filled him with unease. Pan had a small sheltered cave nearby where he often slept. It wasn't much, but it would offer some protection from the night's chill. He carefully scooped up the duckling in his large paw, making sure not to hurt it. The duckling nestled into his warm fur, surprisingly comfortable in the panda's embrace. He carried the duckling to his cave, arranging a soft bed of dry leaves. He even shared a few tender bamboo shoots, though the duckling seemed more interested in sipping water from a puddle Pan had carefully collected in a large leaf. As the night deepened, Pan kept watch over the sleeping duckling, a surprising warmth filling his heart. He had never felt this protective before. The next morning, the sun streamed into the cave, illuminating the tiny duckling, now awake and chirping happily. Pan watched as the duckling explored its surroundings, its small legs padding softly on the leaves. He knew he couldn't keep the duckling forever. It needed its own kind. He decided to take it to the nearby pond, hoping to find its mother or other ducklings. The journey was slow, but Pan was careful to keep the duckling safe. When they reached the pond, several ducklings were swimming and playing near the bank. As Pan carefully placed the duckling down, it immediately ran towards the others, its cheeps of alarm turning into happy squawks as it was welcomed into the flock. Pan watched with a contented sigh